if there's some interference there, call it stress, call it karma, whatever you want to call it, if there's some interference, then our experience of life is compromised relative to those interference patterns, those interference blockages. What we at Clarus have done is taken this principle, we found what we call natural frequencies that are found, literally found in all natural environments. They're found in plants, they're found in human beings, they're found in animals, they're found in cells, they're found. And these frequencies are not specific to the organs, they're primal frequencies, they're fundamental frequencies, or fundamental patterns of geometric swirls of magical divine energy, whatever we're going to wind up calling it. There is information that has been documented thousands and thousands of years ago and is inherent in our own consciousness because it comes out in our music, it comes out in our art. I'm talking literally, you can do a geometric analysis of a piece of art and find these sacred frequencies and sacred geometries. But I'm not talking phi ratio or golden mean or any of those sacred geometries that are commonly known. This is even more fundamental than that. So we've taken those frequencies, or those fields, if you will, and applied it to all kinds of different things. The idea is that those frequencies that you already have to connect you with the intelligence to heal yourself, to be creative, to live life more fully, are enhanced. That's all. Through sympathetic resonance. Like yesterday, there was 2 bowls. They were tuned differently. Is an intonation that you might say is out of tune. You know, the full potential of a human condition at any given moment, which is regulated by the laws of the universe and the laws of your soul, however you want to look at that, those pathways, those communication channels are saying you have something wrong, or they're not saying something wrong. We don't make that judgment. We just connect up with those primal fundamental frequencies and fields of intelligence that govern life on this planet. So imagine you're just linked to your higher potential, your highest potential. That includes the ability to concentrate if you want to sleep, or if you have to sleep, you sleep. If you need to wake up, all these things that we change. How many of us stay in one state for more than a couple seconds? We're always fluctuating. There's all these different, it's like a piano player. Same 72 frequencies, latent, nobody's playing it, and then he begins to play. How many different variations can you go? Infinite, right? That's why we're all different. That's why we all live different lives and with an infinite variety of diversity. But if there's a certain a group of keys over here that are out of tune, every time you get over here, it doesn't quite feel right. It doesn't sound right. And the environment is actually can feel that. You know, literally, if somebody's playing, something's wrong with those 4 notes he keeps playing. Maybe that's the liver. And so what this, by analogy, so what this technology is all about is just, it's allowing the tuning forks for each key. It's like a Steinway piano that's perfectly in tune. And so if I have another piano, and this is, you could really do this if you have 2 pianos, or if you have a piano with the pedal down, and you play a note, that note that's in the same tune will begin to resonate back, right? Now, if that note is out of tune, it doesn't resonate. So we need a reference. We need a reference for what's in tune. Who determined that? Well, that's a philosophical question, maybe a religious question, but the determination has been codified and has been evident. Look at our species here. We're here. We've survived all these number of years. So those frequencies, we just come into the range of the human biofield. Somebody talked about the biofield, so I won't go into that. So what happens? Higher potential of life is the result. And we have various markers. We've done various things to test and show that. Next slide. So we've tested, remember, innate intelligence, that we're not adding anything to anybody, to anything. We're activating what's already there. At whatever stage, the teacher for the 2nd grader, 3rd grader, 4th grader, they're already waiting. We don't add that intelligence. It's just that, like for this analogy, which I've never used before, we just say, it's room 3 now. It's room 4. It's a very clear pathway into that room to gather that intelligence. Next slide. These are some of the tests we've done. The cancer study was an in vitro. You can imagine in a lab with good cells from the human body, human tissue cells, and cancer cells. Well, the first test was done with cancer. And so this was at the University of Vienna Cancer Institute. They're looking at different chemotherapies. And so they have some assays. That means you have a cancer cell, you put a poison or a chemical in it, and they've documented certain die rates. You know, every time you put this chemical in or these temperature conditions, the cancer cells die at a certain rate, and it's been established, right? And so he put a device that has this field of energy that I'm describing here, sympathetic resonance technology, natural energies. What happens in the presence of this device? The cancer cells die more quickly. And that was a huge thing. They died, they died 28% more quickly. And so this is a great thing. It's going to kill cancer. But what about the live good cells? So this was a major concern. We don't want something that's going to, so with the same device, he did this on his own. With the same device, he went to good cells with the same poisons, same chemo stuff on the good cells. In that case, it was 31-point-something% resisted the poison. So the intelligence of nature somehow knew in this particular condition that for the human being, it was not going to support the life of the cancer within the environment of a human condition, and it was going to support the life of a human cell, Same device, no change in frequencies. It's the connection to the universal intelligence that is at play here. Next study. We did some brain waves. This was done with our good friend Dr. William Tiller and Norman Shealy. Basically, when you are stressed with electromagnetism, such as cell phones or anything like that, your brains go into a response, a stressful response, you know. No surprise there. With the Q-link on, and they had placebo units and everything, the stress goes way down. Next, I'll just skip over these because I want to get to blood studies. Often the live cell microscopy studies is challenged because you can find a place in the slide. These were scrutinized to the extent that it was published in the Alternative and Complementary Medicine Journal because the guy went all over, and no matter where you went, the cells looked obviously better. This was a group of people, baseline cell live blood morphology, and then cell phones and electromagnetic stressors. You get this kind of thing here, and then with the Q-link on, with those stressors, the blood inherently becomes resistant or becomes stronger in the presence of those stressors. Next. These are a state of infection, and with SRT, the cells became less infected in the state of poisons. So the cell phone was turned on behind him, he didn't know it, and his brain waves go into this fight-flight response. Q-link was or in this case, it was an ally that was turned on with that field I was talking about, and his brain waves quite immediately go into a place that is even more calm, more stress-free than even he started with. So very significant, published. Next.